I feel like we could have taken our whole time together on this next question, which leads from just where you were. And it's the picture of golf. And it represents life on so many fronts. And even this past weekend, because you were at the Colonial this past weekend, and Thursday you had 65, which is just extraordinary. Your heart had to beat so fast. And then Friday happened.
Yeah, 74. Yeah.
It was a 74. So within a 48-hour window, you experienced the best, just a couple strokes away from the lead to not qualifying for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah.
Is there a key to your mindset that helps you navigate the highs and the lows, the wins and the losses, the successes and the failures? What keeps you in it and steady?
I think golf is one of those sports where you're constantly having to kind of get yourself off the mat and keep going. There's way more failures than successes. So you're continually having to get up and keep going. And this past week was an example. So I'm playing with the young guys. I'm giving up 50 to 60 yards off the tee every hole. And the first day I hit about every fairway, hit about every green, made a bunch of putts, and the game was easy, 65. Didn't seem that difficult, even though I was hitting much longer clubs to the greens. But, you know, I knew that, hey, if I don't drive the ball that straight every round, it's going to be a big struggle, because I'm now going to be back in this thick rough, hitting 5 irons and 4 irons where they're hitting wedges. In the second round, that's what I did. I drove it this far into the rough like 8 times, where I had, terrible lies and really couldn't get to the green, and, it was an extremely difficult experience, and not very far off. I mean, my game wasn't all that much different, but it was just off enough where I'm missing fairways by a little, and then the score reflects that, So the ups and the downs of golf, very often it's a very fine line.
Yeah.
It's a very fine line, so it's, and that's kind of the way of the world. I mean, there's such a fine line very often between something that turns out well and something that doesn't. So how do you deal with that? So if you're going to live and eat and breathe and live and die and with the ups and the downs of the game, you're going to be this person who just gets tossed in the waves. You're just going to be all over the map, and you're going to be different every single day. And I don't really believe we're called to live that way. So I think my faith is what really helps me to understand that I'm the same person with a 65 that I am with a 74. And what good can come out of this? What did I do well? What did I do poorly? And how can I be honest with myself? I mean, there's all kinds of lessons to be learned. And
I suppose biblically, going to Lamentations, His mercies are new every day. Great is His faithfulness.
Yeah.
A new day is a do-over.
It's just, but you learn to live with the ups and the downs, right? And it doesn't. It really shouldn't impact who you are as a person or how you feel about yourself or how you deal with the people around you. You can be very competitive and be really unhappy with that, which I think is fine. But the minute you start taking your anger or frustration out on somebody else, or becoming, you sulk and you become moody because of something that happened, we're not really meant to be that way.